everybody. Welcome back to another episode of True Crime and Chill. I am your host, Gabby, and I am joined today by Haley. How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good. It's Friday, so getting some days off work the next few days. Pretty excited about that.
Yes, I am so happy that it's Friday, as you ladies know. But yes, I am so happy that the weekend's finally here. Mitch, how are you doing? I'm so excited that you have new internet.
Well, I'm ecstatic to have new internet and to be back on Crime Pod. There's so many things that happened recently, and I know today's subject's going to be very interesting, so very looking much forward to it.
Yeah. So before we get into any trending news topics, because there's always so much going on in the world of true crime, we covered serial killers, and as I mentioned in the last episode, we're done with serial killers, at least for right now. We're going to move on to something else. I asked our listeners to try and guess what we're going to cover next, and if you guessed cults, you were absolutely right. In my personal opinion, I absolutely love cults. Not that I would personally join one. I find them incredibly fascinating because of the sheer fact that one person who is so charismatic and they claim to have all of this knowledge and power that they can convince a large group of people to believe them and follow them and to create more followers. I just think it's so fascinating.
It is, and you see them in like TV shows and movies too. I think Riverdale kind of has one in this last season or the current. I don't know. I'm not caught up on it, so I don't remember what season it was. And then some of the movies recently too that I've seen, they put it in there. I think it's just fascinating to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always hear about it, especially when it comes to like the Manson family, which is like the number one cult that everybody can just always look back to, or the Branch Davidians and all that stuff. But it's always interesting to hear about these things because it's still prevalent today, and even now with all the technology and all we know about how cults act, we still see them today. So, great topic. Can't wait to talk about it.
So, I mean, there's just been a lot of breaking news, especially within this last week. I mean, over the last, I don't know how many months, maybe about 4 or 5 now, with the case of Vanessa Guillen, it has just been a huge bombshell. I mean, at the beginning of the week and including last week, there's been so much news popping up left and right. And with more of her story coming out, you see a lot of women who are coming out and sharing their story and their experience about being a victim of rape or sexual assault, or even being a victim of rape and sexual assault on a military base. And I'm sure there are some listeners out there who may be surprised that this actually happens, or realize that there is rape and sexual assault on military bases.
Yeah, I think people think military base and they think they're safe. I know I grew up in a military family. We lived on Fort Carson in Colorado, and I had to walk to school, middle school, because we lived within 2 miles, so we didn't get a bus. And kids got followed home sometimes by creepy vehicles, and it's like, wait, no, you're on a military base. That's not supposed to happen. But there's still people, like, there's bad in everything, right? There's bad in every profession. There's bad in every gender, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So just because they're in the military doesn't make them good people. And I think that there's a culture in the military that we're seeing now of just covering it up. And kind of like the USA Gymnastics. You make a complaint and it just gets covered up. You get demoted. You get kicked out. Like, I don't know. It's frustrating to see, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. When you see a case like this with Vanessa Guillen and all that stuff, you're kind of like, you're shocked at it, but this isn't the first time you hear about stuff like this happening on a military basis, especially with women. And it's sad. It's sad that it's 2020, well, 2021, because we're skipping 2020. that we're in 2021 and stuff like this is still happening. It's like a microcosm in military bases. They're like a microcosm of this really horrible version of patriarchal bullshit. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry to get all feminist right now, but it's the truth. I mean, how what the lengths they'll go to cover things up, to keep women silenced and all that stuff, and it sucks because you know the military has made certain strides
Mm-hmm.
in terms of social issues and stuff, but to see it still happening with women and stuff like this, it's really disheartening, and I hope it's a big eye opener for the military because you know stuff like this can't happen where a woman is not even just ignored, but like sometimes they're exiled for just speaking up about stuff that's happening to them. Like, you know, you want to be able to. She signed up for the same things the man did, so she deserves the same exact respect that you'd give a guy making a complaint about being harassed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What what pisses me off the most is the things I've seen on social media, of course, because where else do we see these horrible people commenting horrible things, is that there are guys saying that that's what the women should expect by joining the military. It's sexual harassment. It's sexual assault, and I'm just like, uh, it blows my mind. Like, how could you ever say something like that? And these are even guys in the military saying it. Like, I, they didn't sign up for that. They
It's
signed
a
up to serve their
culture.
country. Like, they signed up to serve their country, not be raped, murdered, harassed, etc.
Exactly. Exactly. It's things you'd expect from the enemy, not your own countrymen and your own brothers and sisters in arms. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
it is crazy. I mean, she wanted to protect her country, but the very country that she signed up to protect isn't protecting her. And now with the news that her alleged assailant has killed himself and there's another woman who's involved, it's just so sad that she and her family may not get the complete justice because we may not have the full story. And I haven't heard anything else besides the horrible details of what was done to her body and how her body was discarded into the woods and it was encased in, was it concrete?
Yeah.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
Um,
I live near Fort Hood, so I've heard about this story from the very beginning. I mean, everybody that I went to high school with and stuff, we went to high school in Copper's Cove, which is like 20 minutes from Killeen, which is where Fort Hood is. And so it's been such a huge story since she was missing, basically, because she went missing and then nobody looked for her. And then now, like, it took people being in uproar and asking and protesting and, you know, pushing them to look for her. And then when they looked for her, they found another guy who was supposedly a deserter,
mhm.
and they're still fighting for justice for that. Like, they found him and they're still kind of like, and I just don't get it. Like, that poor family as well. They are refusing to give life insurance for it and all this because they called him a deserter.
It's pathetic, in my opinion. It's completely pathetic.
Yes, it really is. It's very sad to see, especially living so close. My dad worked on Fort Hood for a very long time. They've had a lot of issues throughout the years, though. It's one of the I think it's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, army base, right, in the U.S.
I think so. I mean, and Haley, you brought it up to me when we were discussing this case a week ago about all of the different crimes that have occurred on Fort Hood. I mean, what was it, like 10, 15 years ago? There was the active shooter on the base, and that wasn't the only instance of an active shooter on Fort Hood. There's been several different crimes, and it seems like there's just so much going on this one base, and doesn't sound like much has changed since then.
You know, when the active shooter happened, I was in high school. I was actually out on soccer field practicing, and we didn't know until we got inside the building that we were on lockdown. And my mom was a dispatcher. She took the phone call, and she had to hear people being shot in the background. My dad, thankfully, worked on the other side of the base, so he wasn't near it. And after that happened, they did crack down a little bit better on who could get on the post. Now, that person worked on the post, so that was different. But, you know, you drive up to Fort Hood, you drive up to the gate, and they're like, welcome to the great place. You're just like, where? Where is this great place that I'm supposedly going to? Because all I see is, like, crime. And I remember being a high school student, and I was told, be careful of all the military guys. Like, they were sleeping with the high school students, spreading STDs around the area. Like, yeah. So Fort Hood, in my opinion, has always been crappy. We didn't live on it. Like, as soon as we moved to Texas, my mom knew we weren't living on Fort Hood. So
I'll cross that off the vacation list.
Yeah. Well, you know, and sorry, Christian, because you live in Killeen, but Fort Hood is in Killeen, and Killeen is a very high crime rate. And it's not just like the kind of petty crimes you see where I live. It's like violent crimes, you know. So the area that Fort Hood is on, it probably bleeds into one another, you know.
Mm-hmm. We must protect Christian at all costs.
Yeah, she's in a nice area though. I've been to her house plenty of times. You know, we've been friends for 14 years, and her house in Killeen is like on the outskirts, thankfully. So please stay that way, Christian, and keep the crime in the center of the city.
So let's move on to some other breaking news that has actually occurred within like the last 24 to 48 hours. I don't know if any of you guys or any of our listeners have ever watched Glee. Personally, I was never a fan of Glee. It was always on TV, but I think I was in high school when it came out. It was just never my jam. But I'm not going to knock people who like it. The actress, Naya Rivera from Glee, is still missing, and she's been presumed dead. She either on Wednesday or Thursday, she went out on a boat with her 4-year-old son, and this was on a lake, and I think it's called Peru, California. She went out on a lake, and she never returned. They found her son alive. He was asleep on the boat. It seems like nothing has happened to him. It seems like he's fine, no injuries or anything like that. But as of now, and I don't know by the time this episode airs or it's uploaded, they still haven't found her. And I thought it was crazy because, I mean, I know how the media has been portraying her over the years and how they're writing their headlines about this story. It's kind of just like exploiting her past, and it's just kind of like pushing this terrible thing to the side and just like, well, let's not forget about what she did and how she did all these terrible things, or how she may have done all these terrible things, but now she's missing. I don't know what you guys think about this story. I just think it's insane.
Frustrating.
Yeah. I was a fan for like the first 3 seasons. Like I loved it. I watched every episode on that stuff, and then I heard a whole bunch of the original cast wasn't coming back, and then I stopped. But she was one of my favorite. She played one of my favorite characters, Santana, and you know, it kind of sucks the things that you see not just in the media and the headlines, but also like the comments people say, like the conspiracy theories and the some of them are even blaming the former lead actress of the show, Leah Michele. They're saying she had her killed. It's just really crazy, nonsensical stuff, and you kind of feel bad for her family, that they're, you know, still going through this, obviously, and to see comments like that being made about her past, and then also about like former castmates, you know, it's a crappy situation. It's a very weird one, obviously. But I mean, it's not uncommon for people to unfortunately drown in lakes, even ones where it's not like the ocean where the current can just like take you. But apparently that does happen in lakes. I live in Florida, so my lake is South Beach. It's not a lake. But you hear about those accidents all the time. People who are considered very good swimmers, but they sometimes maybe overestimate their ability to survive in the water instead of a pool. Don't wear their vests, and stuff like this happens. It's just sad. I feel terrible for her kid. To have been in that situation, even though he's 4. It's gonna, you know, follow him since he lives in the spotlight. I think his dad's an actor.
Yeah, I don't. I did hear this morning on the radio that they are actually presuming that they're never gonna find her because of the depth of the lake, the type of like not, I guess, like I don't know what you call it, but bush they call them bushes, but like under the water, obviously. So the type of environment that is under the water that you can't see and you don't realize how deep it actually is. So she got tangled in one of those. They're saying like they're just not going to be able to find her in that, not anytime soon. That people just don't realize how big and how deep that lake actually is, which is really sad because then you're like, this family, this poor family's never going to get closure. They're never going to know what actually, happened or without an autopsy. And um, I just think it's really sad because it's not just her, but this is the third Glee cast member. And so, of course, now you have people calling it a Glee curse and kind of bringing up all that stuff and not focusing on, like, look, this woman is missing. A 4-year-old little boy doesn't have a mom. The most important things are, can we at least find her, even if she is dead, which would be really horrible. But at this point, she's been gone for a few days. At least give the family some closure. Let them know.
Can you imagine just for that 4-year-old boy? He's asleep on this boat and he's woken up by paramedics and police trying to find out what happened and where his mom is. And it has to be so traumatic. On top of the fact that he doesn't know where his mother is, he was woken up by a bunch of people asking him all these different questions, and he's only 4 years old.
Yeah, and then he's going to grow up and he's probably going to look at the stories and all the conspiracy theories. I heard on the radio as well when they were talking about the lake that apparently there's video of her parking her car when she got to the lake with him. And apparently it was very erratic. Like she parked fine and then moved it and parked worse and then got out of her car in like a hurry. So then they were making all these stories up about, she's being erratic. Look at all this behavior, blah, blah, blah. I guess maybe alluding to her possibly doing it on purpose, but they didn't actually say those words.
Enough people have drawn their conclusions to also say suicide and stuff like that. And I'm like, come on. No one knows the facts right now to say anything. And to say otherwise, like you have more information than others, is just, it's awful,
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the topic that we all came here to discuss. Enough with the sad stuff. I mean, we had to discuss that. Those were two big headlines that have occurred this week, so I feel like it was something that we had to talk about. So let's talk about cults. And for a lot of people, the word cult may be kind of watered down because you hear it just gets like thrown in the media left and right. They have a cult-like following. They're in a cult. They're a cult leader. This and that. So what really is a cult? So a cult is a particular system of religious worship, especially with reference to its rites and ceremonies, or an instance of great veneration of a person, ideal, or thing, especially as manifested by a body of admirers. So the type of cults that we're going to cover today, we're going to talk about doomsday cults. And there are so many different doomsday cults, and there is actually one I'm trying to talk about who has allegedly been involved in a doomsday cult, and we'll get to her in a little bit. But I would love to give you guys some background knowledge on what a doomsday cult is for those who do not know and have never heard of one. So doomsday cults are cults that believe in apocalypticism and millennialism and can refer to both groups that predict disaster and those that attempt to bring it about to destroy the entirety of the universe. The expression was first used by sociologist John Laughlin in his 1966 study of a group of members of the Unification Church of the United States. A classic study of a group with cataclysmic predictions had previously been performed by Leon Festinger and other researchers and was published in his book When Prophecy Fails, a social and psychological study of modern groups that predicted the destruction of the world. That was a long title. Referring to a study, Festinger and Later, other researchers have attempted to explain the commitment of members to their associated doomsday cult even after the prophecies of their leader turned out to be false. Bessinger explained that this phenomenon is part of a coping mechanism called dissonance reduction, a form of rationalization. Members often dedicate themselves with renewed vigor to the group's cause after a failed prophecy rationalized with explanations such as belief that their actions forestalled the disaster or a belief in the leader when the date or disaster was postponed. Do you guys have any thoughts so far?
I don't think I ever actually knew the for sure definition, so it's just interesting to hear, what the actual definition of a doomsday cult is. Also, fun fact for you guys, I told my husband before we started that we're going to be talking about cults today, and he thought that I said Indianapolis Colts. Not them. I was like,
That's the guy thing to say.
I was like, no, it's the true crime podcast, so definitely not them. I mean, if you know something and we need to talk about them, let me know. But yeah, so it's funny.
Is he in a cult?
No.
It's interesting to hear like what this like kind of like it's a subgenre of cults. You have like it's called those are the regular cults. We're talking about like deep into the apocalypse cults. Like think of like the Rona type of cults, like the Rona version of the cults. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to hear how scientists pretty much reached that I guess phrase or the term doomsday cult, because there's different, like you said, there's different types of cults. I'm pretty sure the Manson family, I keep bringing them up, but now that I think about it, are they a doomsday cult? I don't know that they were a doomsday cult. So I mean, like I feel like there's cults for different things, like Scientology. They're a cult. Sorry, Jada and Will. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. We'll get to Scientology later, but we're not going to talk about them on this episode. However, I will not forget to talk about them. They are beyond fucked up.
And we got to talk about that movie that the Scientology people made. You know which one I'm talking about? That terrible movie. Oh, so good. So good. It's so terrible. It's so good.
Listeners, stay tuned for Scientology.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, and it's actually funny that you bring up coronavirus, because doomsday cults actually love when stuff like this happens, because they can use these types of pandemics or nationwide failures or anything that's going on to recruit people into their cult, because people, especially right now, they're so vulnerable that they're easy to prey upon, and they say, well, we have the answers. If you join our cult, you'll be safe when this apocalypse happens. We have the answers. We have a prophet who knows exactly what's going to go on. We have a prophet who knows how to keep us safe, and we're going to prevent this from happening. So join our cult.
No thanks.
They see it as validation of their worldviews. The world is ending. Oh, I've been saying it for years. It's ending. How is it going to end? I don't know, but I said I've been saying it for years that the world's ending, and I'm right. Finally, in your faces. Join me, guys.
What? Yeah, we didn't mean 2012. We actually meant 2020. Sorry.
Yeah, the Mayans got it wrong. Well, I got it right.
Apparently, in the Ethiopian Orthodox calendar, it's 2012 right now.
Oh, so maybe the Mayans were right.
That's
kind of creepy.
I don't know why their calendar is 8 years behind, but I guess it's 2012 in Ethiopian Orthodox calendars, strangely enough.
Well, they need to skip ahead a year so we can get out of the 2012.
Yeah, when does 2012 end in the Ethiopian Orthodox calendar? All right, so moving on. Some researchers believe that the use of the term by the government and the news media can lead to self-fulfilling prophecy, in which actions by authorities reinforces the apocalyptic beliefs of the group, which in turn can inspire further controversial actions. Group leaders have themselves objected to comparisons between one group and another, and parallels have been drawn between the concept of a self-fulfilling prophecy and the theory of a deviancy amplification spiral. Social scientists have found that while some group members will leave after the date for a doomsday prediction by the leader has passed uneventfully, others actually feel that their belief and commitment to the group has strengthened. Often, when a group's doomsday prophecies or predictions fail to come true, the group leader will simply set a new date for impending doom or predict a different type of catastrophic event on a different date. Like, just kidding, I actually meant this date.
My bad. I'm so dumb. Like, okay, I guess not to be super rude to the followers, but like, how gullible are you? You know, just that they're like, world's gonna end on this day, and then it doesn't. And they're like, just kidding. We really meant 2 weeks from now, and then it still doesn't end. Yet you're still following these people. It's like the world's biggest scam.
You know what it is? I think it's kind of like, and Mark is gonna love this little tidbit, but it's kind of like in the movie Knives Out, when you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound. So many of these people have bought into it so much and probably given up so much of their lives that they're like, all right, so it's not ending in 2012. We're talking 2020 instead. I believe you. You also control all of my savings and you have all my secrets, so I'll believe you. Sure. You know, like a lot of these people I've read that like they have to give them sometimes collateral information or whatever. So they're so far into it, whether they actually believe it or they're already committed so much personally that they're kind of like, yeah, if the date's got to switch, sure, let's go along with that.
That's crazy.
So let's talk about a woman who is alleged to be involved in a doomsday cult. And this is actually recent news. This is not something that has happened 15, 20 years ago or beyond. So I'm sure you've heard left and right in the media the name Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell.
Yeah.
So Lori Vallow, I guess, was involved in the doomsday cult, and I will take all you guys through this timeline. But she was involved in the deaths of her son and her daughter, Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow. On June 10, 2020, the bodies of Tylee Ryan and JJ Vallow were discovered on Chad Daybell's property in Salem, Idaho. Tylee and JJ's mother is accused of being involved in their deaths. Lori was married a total of 5 times. During her third marriage, Lori gave birth to her daughter Tylee. On February 24, 2006, 282 days after her divorce to her third husband, Lori married Leland Anthony Vallow, aka Charles Vallow, who had converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In 2013, the couple adopted Joshua Jackson, also known as JJ Vallow, before moving to Kauai in late 2014. Around 2015, Lori Vallow read Chad Daybell's Standing in Holy Places book series and became obsessed with them. After 2.5 years in Hawaii, the Vallow family moved to Arizona. On December 5th, 2018, Lori first joined Chad Daybell on the podcast Preparing the People and would continue to do so. On February 2019, according to Charles Vallow, Lori said she no longer cared about him or JJ, and that she was the reincarnated wife of Joseph Smith. And if any of you guys don't know who Joseph Smith is, he's the founder of Mormonism and the Book of Mormon. Maybe go ahead and look into the play, the Book of Mormon. But yeah, she claimed that she was the reincarnated wife of Joseph Smith.
Okay.
Yeah.
5 husbands. Like, damn. Mm-hmm. You couldn't stay married to one, huh? I just wanted to try them all.
So reincarnated Carol Baskin is what you're telling me.
Yeah. So after she claimed that she was the reincarnated wife of Joseph Smith, she vanished for 58 days.
Where did she go?
We don't know. So that same month, Charles Vallow filed for divorce, saying that his wife had threatened to murder him if he got in the way of her preparation for the Christ's second coming in July of 2020. Jesus is coming.
Did you know that? We're in July, guys, and I didn't know that. So
I'm a little worried.
a little worried now.
I mean, we are how many days? 10 days? Almost 2 weeks into July. Nothing crazy has happened yet. So
Don't jinx it.
Did you just jinx us? Don't jinx us, okay?
Don't do
please.
that. That's like saying quiet at work, you know? It's not quiet after that.
And some of us do live in Florida where crazy shit tends to happen, okay? Please. Don't throw that voodoo on me now.
Tends to happen or always happens?
Wow, Haley. Wow, Haley.
I mean, I just sent you the story the other day that a jogger found a head.
Listen, Texas, that's a low blow, okay, Texas? You ain't too far behind.
We're the good cousin. Okay?
Right now, you're close. You're close. You're cutting it a little close, but yeah.
We are when it comes to COVID. You are right. We are failing.
So he had also taken $35,000 from their joint bank account and stole his truck.
You know, girl's got to do what she's got to do.
Yeah. Just let me take a cool $35,000. We'll be good.
It's nothing.
Reincarnated wives got money to spend, yo. They gotta
Drop
buy
in the bucket.
stuff.
And the truck. Don't forget the truck.
Yeah. However, Charles Vallow withdrew the petition 1 month later, saying he wanted to try to make the marriage work. That was your first mistake, guy.
Yeah. Well, marrying her was his first mistake, but...
True. So that was his second mistake.
Yeah.
Staying with her after she said she was a reincarnated dead person was probably the second mistake. So this guy's batting 3 for 3.
And she threatened to kill him.
4 for 4.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Oh,
On July 11th, so it's almost a year to the date, on July 11, 2019, Charles Vallow was shot and killed by Lori's brother, who claimed self-defense. Now, I'm not going to get too much into Lori's brother, but he's like a mess of his own in this whole timeline of crazy-ass shit.
Are we sure she didn't do it and the brother took the fall?
We're not
hired
sure.
Brother.
Also not sure. This story about Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, it just has so many twists and turns. It's just, I don't even know where it goes half the time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Strike 5 took his life, so.
She's like a Mormon Carol Baskin. Jesus. God.
Oh, Lord.
So, in September 2019, Lori, with her children, moved to Rexburg, Idaho to be with Chad Daybell. On September 8th, 2019, Kylie is last seen in Yellowstone National Park along with Lori, Alex, that's her brother, and JJ. On September 23rd, 2019, JJ is last seen at his new school in Rexburg, Idaho. The very next day, on September 24th, Lori informed JJ's school that he will no longer be attending and will be homeschooled instead. On October 1st, 2019, Lori rents a storage locker in Rexburg in which the children's belongings are later found.
Yeah. She's worse than Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Like that, red flag after red flag, man.
Mm-hmm.
She's the #1 mom of the year, apparently.
Oh, Lord. On October 9th, Chad Daybell's ex-wife, Tammy Daybell, called police after a masked assailant attempted to shoot her in her garage with what she believed was a paintball gun. 10 days later, Tammy Daybell was found dead in her home in Salem, Idaho. Initially, her death was ruled to be due to natural causes, but this is under investigation as of February 11, 2020.
Yeah, as it should have been back then when it happened. Like,
Mm-hmm.
these people are dropping dead around them. And everybody's just like, oh, cool, self-defense, natural causes, no big deal.
Yeah.
She's like a walking plague. Jesus. I
Or
mean,
like a Black Widow.
excuse the pun.
Oh, I know.
A Black Widow who kills more than her husband.
Jesus.
Wow.
Killing everybody.
On November 5th, 2019, so this is like a month later after Chad's ex-wife dies of natural causes. On November 5th, 2019, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell get married in Hawaii. How romantic.
I bet she used her $35,000 to pay for that trip and wedding.
Yeah. Yeah. On November 27, 2019, Lori and Chad abandon their home in Rexburg and disappear. That same day, Rexburg police searched for children, but they were not found. On December 20th, 2019, Rexburg police officially announced an investigation into the disappearance of Kylie and JJ. On January 3rd, 2020, Rexburg police and FBI searched Chad and Tammy's former home in Idaho. On January 25th, 2020, local authorities find Chad and Lori in Kauai, Hawaii, and served Lori with a court order requiring her to produce the children within 5 days. Do we think that she produced the children within 5 days?
Definitely not.
No. 5 days later, Lori misses her court-ordered deadline to produce JJ and Kylie. On February 20th, 2020, Lori Vallow is arrested in Kauai and charged with 2 felony counts of desertion and non-supportive dependent children. Lori remains in jail, and some local bail bond companies reportedly have refused to assist her. Rightfully so.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having a conscience there.
I don't think even Dog the Bounty Hunter and his bail bond company would help her out.
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Stand-up guy that guy is.
Yeah. So on June 9th, 2020, human remains were found on Chad Daybell's property in Salem, Idaho. Daybell was arrested later that day. He has been charged with 2 felony counts of destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, and is currently being held at Fremont County Jail. On June 10th, J.J. Vallow's biological grandmother confirms that one of the set of human remains belongs to J.J., and the Ryan family confirmed that the second set of remains belonged to Kylie Ryan. 3 days later, authorities officially confirmed that the remains are those of the children. In a March 24th, 2020 report, official court documents noted that Vallow and Daybell had been convinced that Kylie and JJ had been possessed and became zombies.
What?
Yeah.
It's like the most bizarre Walking Dead episode.
I know, right? I feel like I'm in a movie right now just listening to this.
So, honestly, I've been, talking about this news story so much. I must be driving my fiance crazy with it. I talk about this shit all the time with him, and he's very fascinated, but I just talk about it nonstop. But he asked me, why would they do this to their children? What did they do to deserve this? And after I find out that she was allegedly involved in a doomsday cult or some sort of cult, maybe she killed them on purpose, or maybe she had to, sacrifice them for some God knows what reason.
She also just sounds kind of crazy, though. When you look at, even before the cult, she kind of didn't seem so great of a person. So, I mean, you see cases like the Gabriel Fernandez, our first episode, and you wonder, why? Just why? How could you do this to your own child? And unfortunately, we just don't know. Unless she were to specifically say, here's why I did it. you know, you don't know, and you can't fathom it because you wouldn't do it.
No.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I would like to know more about what the cult she belonged to because, like you said, it could be the cult itself. But honestly, when you see this type of pattern of behavior, you're kind of like, ah, it looks like she was escalating to that anyways. I mean, um, some people just shouldn't be parents, and clearly she was one of them. But I really wonder what her state of mind is because I think it takes a special kind of mental illness to be able to kill your kid.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, as especially as a mom, because that's, you always hear about that parental bond that moms have with their kids because they carry them for 9 months and all that stuff. So I think it takes a special kind of, I mean, there's like murders and then there's like these kinds of murders to be able to do something like this to a life that you created. Um, I just Damn, Mormon.
Yeah.
Well, not all Mormons before anyone hears this. And
Now we're
I
gonna get
live
all
in
these
Tampa.
hate tweets because of Mitch.
I live in Tampa. Okay, I live in Tampa. Latter-day Saints, the crazy ones, not the regular ones. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I didn't mean.
Yeah, we'll talk about the fundamental Latter-day Saints in a different episode, but yes, those are the crazy ones.
Yeah. And for them, in case they're listening in anticipation of that episode, I live in Tampa.
They're not listening. Have you ever seen Escaping Polygamy? They live like Amish people. They're not listening.
No thanks. I don't want to live without electricity.
Yeah, imagine living without AC. Oh my God, I might be the subject of a true crime pod because I would not live in this heat. Okay,
Dude,
no way.
It's over 100 every day here. It's supposed to be 105 next week. Like, absolutely not. No. Get together, Texas. By the way.
We should do some heat-induced murders on on True Crime Pod then.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
Honor, it was 120 degrees. He was breathing too loud.
Okay, total side note, but I think I saw it on Twitter that this girl was like, the coronavirus can be killed at 135 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's just like make it that hot and so it'll kill it and then everybody will be fine. And I was like,
yeah, because we'll be dead too. Cool.
Yeah, I was like, do you realize how hot that would be? Or I don't know.
That sounds like that one guy in Florida who said like there was a hurricane and he was like, we have to like shoot it away or something.
Sounds like a very Florida thing.
You're right. He even created a Facebook group and
Oh
people legit joined it. I don't know if a lot of them just joined it because they thought it was funny, but
Probably.
I mean,
kind of like the storming Area 51 thing. People
Yeah.
joined it to see like what was going to happen for real. Just you can't get rid of the stupidity. It's here.
Yeah. It will never go away. Natural selection. So to end the story about Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell, this case is still ongoing. There has, as far as you know, there hasn't been any new information. This is everything that I have told you guys is what I know. But there's like information about her brother and like her sister-in-law and like I don't know, I think it was like her cousin. They're all a bunch of weirdos. So if you really want to get in depth into the story, just by all means, definitely dive into this story because it is nuts. If you thought what I told you was pretty fucked up and you're just like, this woman is fucked up, this dude that obsessed with is also fucked up, you're right. But you should definitely go research more because this is just like a tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and for all of our documentary creators out there, this sounds like a good one. So somebody get onto it. Great, that documentary for us.
See y'all on Netflix next year.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about an actual doomsday cult that was pretty popular in the 70s. I don't know why I know of this cult, but I just do. Have you guys ever heard of Heaven's Gate with Marshall
Absolutely.
Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles? I don't know why I know it, but I just do. Have you guys ever seen Dude, Where's My Car?
Yes.
Parts of it. Yeah.
It's really bad.
So,
Not gonna lie. Sorry for the people who like it.
it's like so stupid that it's actually funny. It's just one of those movies.
Yeah, there's some of those that are really good, like Super Troopers, but I just couldn't get into Dude, Where's My Car?
So, honestly, the one UFO or like UFO science alien cult that's in Dude, Where's My Car? Their name is Zoltan, and they wear like the bubble wrap suits with the Nike shoes. That was actually based on the Heaven's Gate cult.
That's kind of cool.
And there was like an SNL skit that was based off of the Heaven's Gate cult. So very popular cult in pop culture and in true crime. So Heaven's Gate was founded in 1974 by Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles in San Diego, California. After being fired from the University of St. Thomas in Houston, Texas, over an alleged relationship with his male student, Applewhite met Bonnie Nettles in 1972. According to Applewhite's writings, the two met in a hospital where she worked while he was visiting a sick friend. It has been rumored that it was a psychiatric hospital, but Nettles was substituting for another nurse working with premature babies in the nursery. Applewhite later recalled that he felt like he had known Nettles for a long time and concluded that they had met in a past life. She told him their meeting had been foretold to her by extraterrestrials, persuading him that he had a divine assignment. What's so wrong with that? They were soulmates.
They were soulmates, and it was kind of like the Joker and Harley Quinn, like meeting in a psychiatric hospital.
The epitome of romance.
Yeah,
honestly.
right. I mean, that's what everybody wants, right? And first off, why is it always Texas or Florida? What did we do to deserve this?
Should we do a Texas episode next? Let us know.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
If we're going to make fun of Florida, we kind of have to make fun of Texas, too.
Let us know if you guys are interested in the Texas episode. Well, there's Florida.
Bring Christian on board so she can tell us about
yes,
the craziness too.
See, me and Christian are both like Texas implants, right? So I was born in Jersey. She was born in Georgia, and then military and stuff like that brought us to Texas. So we're Texans by our love for it, not because we were like born here.
Bring Carly on as well.
Yeah, get all of our Texas people.
Texas.
All right. In addition to reading the King James Bible and passages from the New Testament, Applewhite read science fiction. By June 19th, Applewhite and Nettles concluded that they had been chosen to fulfill biblical prophecies and that they had been given higher level minds than others. They wrote a pamphlet that described Jesus' reincarnation as a Texan. So not only is Jesus going to be here in July, he's also a Texan.
The way the Lord intended, babies. Let's go.
Texas is the best, right? So maybe.
So Jesus' reincarnation as a Texan, he will be a thinly veiled reference to Applewhite. Furthermore, they concluded that they were two witnesses described in the Book of Revelation and occasionally visited churches or other spiritual groups to speak of their identities. They often referred to themselves as the Two or the UFO Two. They believed that they would be killed and then restored to life and, in view of others, transported onto a spaceship. This event, which they referred to as the demonstration, was to prove their claims. To their dismay, these ideas were poorly received by existing religious communities. I mean, obviously.
You don't say. Like, I don't know. I hear Son of Sam when we talk about them thinking God and all that is telling them to do certain things that are probably not appropriate, like murder. Yeah. So, and also not very creative, the two, because you're two people. Like, yeah, couldn't come up with a better nickname.
So that's why they came up with the UFO too.
Still not that creative, though.
Duh. They came up with the UFO one too. At least we know a prerequisite for that religion was that you have to count to two. Imagine.
Yeah, that's it. Count to two, believe in aliens.
Honey, what's a good name? What? UFO? You and me? Oh, the UFO too?
So
book it. Sold. Copyrighted.
Trademark. Eventually, Applewhite and Nettles resolved to contact extraterrestrials, and they sought like-minded followers. They published advertisements for meetings where they recruited disciples whom they called the crew. At the events, they're so creative. Whoever helps them with this, A+. At the events, they purported to represent beings from another planet. The next level, who sought participants for an experiment. They stated that those who agreed to take part in the experiment would be brought to a higher evolutionary level. Later, in 1975, the crew assembled at a hotel in Waldport, Oregon. After selling all worldly possessions and saying farewell to loved ones, the group vanished from their hotel. That night on CBS Evening News, Walter Cronkite reported that the group had disappeared. In reality, Applewhite and Nettles had arranged for the group to go underground. From that point, Applewhite and Nettles referred to themselves as Doe and T. They would lead nearly 100 followers across the country, sleeping in tents and sleeping bags and begging in the streets. Evading detection by the authorities and media enables the group to focus on Doe and T's doctrine of helping members of the crew achieve a higher evolutionary level, above human, to which they claim to have already reached.
So they're like just making all these people homeless and begging for money on the side of the street. Yeah, it doesn't sound like somebody I would want to follow and listen to.
No.
Well, to be fair, they were probably not picking from the cream of the crop if I'm not being too callous. Usually these types of people target people who are kind of already vulnerable to that stuff, like people who have drug problems, who have mental illness and they can't treat it, or they're already homeless. So, I mean, if I'm all tweaked out of my mind, I'd be like, yes, the UFO too? What? Let's go. Where are we going? We're going under the bridge? Tents? Let's go. We got this.
Yeah.
I already went to the sleeping bag. I'm ready to go.
I got this sleeping bag for 20 years. Baby smells fresh like yesterday's garbage. Let's go.
Ew. Well, if they existed today, then they would be living the dream in Austin, because in Austin, it's allowed to camp. So homeless people are allowed to camp anywhere in Austin. So you just see the tents along the side of the road, under the bridges, all that. So Joe and T would love them some Austin.
That's why the Lord picked Texas.
That's why he's a Texan when he comes back this month.
Maybe it is in Austin.
Maybe it was. Don't mind my UT Austin shirt.
In Applewhite's writings, he suggested that he believed himself to be Jesus' successor and the present representative of Christ on earth. Joe and T taught during the religious movement's early beginnings that Joe's bodily vehicle was inhabited by the same alien spirit that belonged to Jesus. Likewise, T, Bonnie Nettles, was presented as God the Father. The crew used numerous methods of recruitment as they toured the country, such as proclaiming the gospel of higher level metamorphosis, the deceit of humans by false god spirits, the envelopment with sunlight for meditative healing, and the divinity of the UFO too.
Yeah. No. They're
It
pretty
sounds way
crazy.
more catchy than Bonnie and Clyde, honestly.
Yeah.
You know?
It grows on me every time you say it, Gabby. Every time you say it. The UFO 2.
UFO 2.
UFO
Man.
2.
If there's somebody out there looking for a band name, we found it for you.
UFO 2.
UFO 2.
UFO 2. Oh, God. Take this out. Someone, please edit it. Mark. Someone. Brian, one of you. I can't believe I did that.
Make it and then put it on a soundboard.
UFO 2.
We found the new chat name for Pones Media.
Heaven's Gates members believed that the Earth would be recycled before 2027, and the only chance for their consciousness to survive was to leave their human bodies at an appointed time. Initially, the group had been told that they would be transported with their bodies aboard a spacecraft that would come to Earth and take the crew to heaven, which they referred to as the next level. Now it gets sad because in 1985, Bonnie Nettles died due to liver cancer. After this, Applewhite's subsequent revision of the group's doctrines that the crew gained an eventual reputation as the cyberculture forum religious taught reform. By the mid-90s, the group had become reclusive, identifying themselves using the business name Higher Source and using their website to proselytize and recruit followers. Rumors began spreading throughout the group in the following years that the upcoming comet Hale-Bopp housed the secret to their ultimate salvation and the ascendance to the kingdom of heaven. I don't remember this comet at all, but apparently it was like one of the most famous comets ever.
What year was this?
Like 97.
No, man. I was watching The Rock wrestle Steve Austin. What kind of comet, man?
Yeah. Watching like the Rugrats and stuff, not learning about doomsday cults. So.
That was some UFO 2 shit.
Nope, UFO 1 then.
Oh.
Yeah.
She lived on in the next level, though.
That's true.
That's true. Can it still be 2, though? He wasn't in the next level.
Harsh. How do you know for certain?
He thought he was.
In October 1996, members of T's group began renting a large home, which they called the Monastery, a mansion located in Rancho Santa Fe. In the same month, the group purchased alien abduction insurance that would cover up to 50 members and would pay out $1 million per person.
Stop. Alien abduction insurance.
Wait, that's like a real thing?
Yes. Have you ever seen the Family Guy episode where these two salesmen go to Peter's door and they're trying to sell him like mountain insurance or something, like avalanche insurance or some stupid shit? And he's like, I don't need this right now. And then after he thinks about it, he's just like, I needed this. I think I need this.
Oh my god.
I can't believe it's a real thing. I'm dying over here. I'm laughing so hard. Like.
I'm a little shocked that that's a real thing. Now I'm gonna like have to look this up.
Mitch is like, I'm gonna need to go get some of this alien
I live
abduction
in
insurance.
I live in Florida. The alien abduction thing's highly likely. Okay, highly.
I don't know if the aliens want Florida people though. Like,
I think they
they'll
would.
bring them back.
They're gonna be like, let's look at how crazy these people get. What state? Florida. But doesn't Jesus live in? All right, we'll do Florida,
And then Texas.
and then they'll get Texas because Jesus, is Texas.
To be fair, some people in Florida actually look like aliens, so.
That is true. Spent so much time out in the sun, that skin don't even look. I'm just
Looks like
what
rubber.
Up? What's up, Leatherface? Get it?
So gross.
Terrible.
Mitch, we needed to look it up and let us know how much you have to pay like monthly for alien abduction insurance.
I really will. I'm like, I'm shook. I'm shook right now.
What I really want to know is what insurance company actually will sell you alien abduction insurance? Like, is State Farm or is like Progressive Insurance? Are they gonna like sell you alien abduction insurance, or are they just like making that up and just like, yeah, we have it, we'll sell it to you. Just give us a cool $1 million.
I'm just gonna go ahead and like kind of Google it here because
Tomorrow.me. Want total peace of mind? Get alien abduction insurance. This has to be a satire site, right? Oh my god, this looks so.
$9.95 a month.
Not $9 or 900?
$9.95. $10.
You get $10 million in coverage for a mere $9.95. If you want. What?
Mitch just signed up, guys.
It's a gag gift.
It's a gag gift.
If you guys want a wonderful $10 million payout, all you got to do is just pay $9.95 and you're golden.
Oh my god.
Geico actually has on their website that they do not carry alien abduction insurance, guys. It is actually on there, okay?
Oh my god. Oh, wait, it says right here. This is from Geico's site though. It says, believe it or not, a London-based firm has sold more than 30,000 alien abduction insurance policies throughout Europe.
These are scams, people. Quit buying it, okay? You're being
Damn,
scammed out of your
Europe.
money. Hey, for once, it's not the U.S. It's Europe.
Better safe than sorry, Sometimes you expect ET, you get aliens instead.
But is it like your family gets the money? Because you're abducted. That doesn't mean you're coming back, right? So it's not like you're getting the money.
I want to call them up and be like, so what if I get abducted but I come back? Can I keep the money, or is it like, how does this work?
Does my husband get it? I'm confused.
If I file a claim, do you need to interview the alien who did this, or like their company, like their ship?
Would your insurance rates go up if you get abducted?
Yeah. What if it happens again, like a car accident?
What's like my deductible?
Yeah,
that's a good question. I feel like now that we Googled this, our phones are gonna have the weirdest crap on them, Mitch.
They really are.
Plus Facebook after this. You're probably going to get a lot of little Facebook ads trying to sell you alien abduction insurance.
Do you believe in aliens? No. Go away. Quit listening to me, big brother.
Oh, man.
All right. Something on March 19th to the 20th in 1997, Applewhite taped himself called Joe's Final Exit, speaking of mass suicide and the only way to evacuate this Earth. After asserting that a spacecraft was trailing Comet Hale-Bopp and that this event would represent the closure to Heaven's Gate, Applewhite persuaded 38 followers to prepare for a ritual suicide so their souls could board the supposed spacecraft. Applewhite Applewhite believed that after their deaths, a UFO would take their souls to another level of existence above human, which he described as being both physical and spiritual. So, very much like Jim Jones's cult, they had to take a little mixture of a little something something.
Kool-Aid.
But it was a little more different than Kool-Aid. To kill themselves, members took phenobarbital mixed with applesauce or pudding and washed it down with vodka.
Ew. That makes me want to vomit, just hearing those words together in one sentence. Like, no.
Wait, they took what?
Yeah.
It's like a smoothie?
Yeah. Like some pudding mixed in, and then they had a drink because it tasted so awful, they needed alcohol to kill it.
So you're going to chase down applesauce or pudding with vodka. Gross.
No.
Imagine that. Ma, can I get some vodka from my snack pack? Can I chase down my snack pack with some vodka, please? Gonna add some ice.
Yeah, no.
The coolest.
There is like vanilla Cool Whip tasting vodka, so
Real.
pudding, Cool Whip vodka.
I don't think that was popular in 1997. I could be wrong.
Probably not. Just regular vodka.
Yeah, neither was UFO 2, but whatever.
UFO like one and a half.
UFO 2.
Additionally, they secured plastic bags around their heads after ingesting the mix to induce asphyxiation. All 39 were dressed in identical black shirts and sweatpants, brand new black and white Nike shoes, and armband patches reading Heaven's Gate Away Team. Each member had on their person a $5 bill and 75 cents in their pocket. The $5 bill was to cover vagrancy fines while members were out on jobs, while the quarters were to make phone calls. Once dead, a living member would arrange the body by removing the plastic bag from the person's head. Then they posed the body so that it lay neatly in their own bed, with faces and torsos covered by a square purple cloth for privacy. The identical clothing was chosen to represent unity, while the Nikes were just chosen as the group just got a good deal on shoes.
I mean, I don't know what they cost back then, but Nikes are kind of pricey now, so that probably wouldn't be my choice for, like, a lot of people.
I applaud them for going out in style. Uniforms and Nikes? What? Wow.
True. And then
they really had their shit together, honestly.
$5 bill. No.
I'm gonna tell my mom, can I get like a suit and like some Yeezys? And I want to be buried with like $100 because I was a bit of a deviant. And in case it costs some money to get to the next level, I want to be able to cover my fare.
Make sure you keep $5.75 in your pocket at all times.
Apparently all you need.
Okay. Just fair enough.
But who came up with $5.75? Like,
they factored in like taxes and stuff.
I mean, I guess back then $5 probably went a little bit further than it does now. $5 don't get you anything, not even food at this point.
Probably. So on March 26, 1997, Marshall Applewhite and 38 others died as a result of suicide. Heaven's Gate is open only to adults over the age of 18. Group members gave up their possessions and lived a high aesthetic life devoid of many indulgences. In the public, the group always carried a $5 bill and one roll of quarters. 8 of the male members, including Applewhite, voluntarily underwent castration in Mexico as an extreme means of maintaining its aesthetic lifestyle.
What? What?
Yeah.
I mean, thank you, because you didn't create another person to be crazy like y'all. But what?
Now, this includes the pillar and the stones? Or...
I don't know.
Just castration. So.
Well, apparently, upon my research, Marshall Applewhite wanted to have one of the members of the cult do it for them, but when she tried to do the castration, she almost killed somebody. So they're just like, we're gonna go to Mexico instead.
Because that's better, though.
Oh, I'm shocked. I'm shocked she almost killed somebody. I mean, just the other day.
Imagine? Hey, can you cut off some penises over here? We need you to do this for the cult, okay?
Hey, Michelle, I know you do an office job. You know, that's what you do. But can you, like, castrate someone real quick? It's just a little snippy snip. Oh.
Oh, and then, whoa. You almost killed somebody. What were you doing? Now we gotta go to Mexico.
Well, you had one job.
One job.
I had no idea how much blood flows there, guys.
Oh, man, this story is just ridiculous. Okay, or I shouldn't even call it a story because it's like happened. This is real, but
Heaven's Gate, indeed.
Marshall Applewhite was just living like a Ken doll for God knows how long.
who knew there were real life Ken dolls, guys? We all thought that the Ken doll wasn't anatomically correct, but it was. It was just some people we didn't, think of.
Now, maybe we can come to the conclusion that Ken could have been part of Heaven's Gate.
Yeah. Mattel is the is the company behind Heaven's Gate. Ooh, conspiracy theory. True crime pod coming right up.
All the crimes.
How the Mattel company created Heaven's Gate through toys.
Yep.
By the way, Heaven's Gate still has a website up and running if anyone is ever interested in anything that at www.heavensgate.com.
I'm just casually Googling a whole bunch of random crap this whole episode. My phone is going to hate me.
What's one more weird Google search? I mean, come on.
I see it. Wow. You can still get into it. So.
They got a picture of the Nikes?
No, but they have something called Our Position Against Suicide. So now they're against it, guys.
Harsh. Harsh. How do we make it to the next level then?
The next one under that is how a member of the Kingdom of Heaven might appear. Last chance to advance beyond human. Okay. Statement by an extraterrestrial presently incarnate. Real things on this website, guys.
Oh, Haley. Look what you did. Now you're going to get some nice ads coming up on your social media and stuff. It's going to be like, do you want to purchase UFO 2 merch?
Do you like vodka with your pudding?
Only 9 supplies. Purchase your alien abduction insurance now.
Oh my god. You live in Texas? Oh, perfect.
Jesus.
Got a wholesale sale on Nike shoes for the next mass suicide.
Guys, I already have. I mean, they're black, white, and pink technically, but I got some black, white, and pink Nike Air Maxes, so I'm ready.
You're halfway there?
Halfway there. Just need my 575.
And there's a coin shortage.
That's true. What are you going to do?
Oh
Go look under your couch cushion. Go
Apparently beg for it on the street, because that's what they did.
All right, guys. Well, that is all the information that I have for today. I hope you all enjoyed the wonderful stories of Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and Heaven's Gate. And next time you watch Dude, Where's My Car? And you see the Zoltan cult, you know who it's based off of.
This was pretty fun, guys. Not gonna lie, because it was just so ridiculous that it was funny.
I hope everyone enjoyed learning about Heaven's Gate. It was a wonderful pleasure to share this wonderful, amazing, interesting cult with all of you because it never fails to make everybody laugh.
Yeah, I think like the serial killers made us laugh, but not this much. So, just saying.
I can't wait to dig further into more cults. I mean, if this is a start, we're in for a wild one on this series.
I'm ready.
UFO 2.
Before we go, why don't you guys let everybody know where our listeners can find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at CSI Haley, and of course you can catch all of us at Pones Media on Twitter and ponesmedia.com.
Mm-hmm.
You guys can find me at my website, UFO2. No, I'm just kidding. You can find me on Twitter at Mitch1128, also known as Camp Boozy Von Drunk a Ton. Yeah, and also follow at Pones Media because we post fire content, guys.
Yes, you definitely follow Pones Media. That's PWNS Media on Twitter. And you can find me at Moneybagsgabs. I'm probably going to purchase myself some alien dust insurance because it's so cheap, and I got to protect myself at all costs. I got to cover all my bases.
Make sure to ask a lot of questions, though, before you purchase it.
Yeah. So I will catch you guys on the next episode. We have way more cults to discuss besides Heaven's Gate, and it only gets weirder from here, I promise. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope to have you guys listen to the next episode. Bye!
Bye!
Bye!